Oscar couldn't have ran for like 5 more yards. Oh, sorry, you already started.
Welcome, everybody. It's just Colin.
Actually, you know what? Chandler Rogers couldn't have gotten sacked 3 times in a row or whatever it was earlier.
Oh, yeah. He got sacked. That's what killed your
that's what
rushing
killed me.
prop. That's what killed your rushing
Oh,
prop.
this is just
sacks. Welcome, everybody, to our post-game reaction podcast for North Texas and SMU, where SMU defeats North Texas for a 6th straight time, I think it was. 5th straight time.
Doesn't matter.
Whatever it was. 45-21.
Yeah.
North Texas was actually in the first half competent, close, arguably should have been tied if they make a field goal. If they catch a pass, maybe even, winning or ties.
Jamar Macklin catches that pass in the end zone.
Yeah, a lot of different opportunities to catch passes that were not had tonight. But and then the second half is an utter disaster, collapse. It looked like Chandler Morris, like in the episode the movie The Longest Yard, how they try paying off Adam Sandler and said, "Hey, you can go home. You don't have to be in jail anymore."
Oh, Chandler Rogers. Yeah, you said Chandler Morris.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Chandler Rogers. Like in The Longest Yard, where they said you can go home, you don't have to be in jail anymore if you throw this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rogers came out, was a shell of himself in the second half. Fumble, pick, a fumble that was called back because it was incomplete by like a millisecond. Overthrown balls. Yeah, he struggled significantly. So, yeah, pretty painful loss there to end the stretch of death. I was on record saying if they covered, if they kept it close, lost by a touchdown, I'd feel good. This was instead a 24-point beatdown from SMU.
Yeah, and one touchdown came with like a minute and a half left, so I'm not really going to count that. So let's call it 45-14. And that was just an awful showing in the second half. Really, the thing that got me wasn't so much of, okay, Chandler Rogers throws a pick or whatever. It was the penalties that really just made me angry. Like false start after false start on a punt. Like, what are we doing out here? Like,
and that's what, like, to this point in the season, they haven't been penalized.
Right.
That was one of the biggest difference, I think, from this year's team from the Seth Luttrell teams was penalties hadn't been a problem. They'd made adjustments. They'd kept it close with good teams. All of that went out the window in this game.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start? I think the biggest thing to me, look, we said going into this game, if Stone was not healthy for SMU, I thought North Texas had a shot. Ultimately, it didn't matter who the quarterback was for SMU because they ran the ball for 318 yards, 58 rushes, 5.5 yards per carry. And the funny thing is they weren't even – North Texas in the past 4 or 5 years has given up 300-yard rushing games. But, you think back to like the App State game or you think back to last year's games, and they were like 60-yard runs, 50-yard runs, just allowing big freaking runs. Tonight, the longest run SMU had was 25 yards.
Yep.
And then you had a 22 and a 21 and nothing else.
Yeah.
That was like, over that. So it was just consistently getting beat with 5, 6, 7, 8-yard carries and nothing North Texas could do about it. Again, it's been the story of the season. I think that this defensive scheme, this defensive formation, this alignment does not fit what you have. And this has been a story since the Cal game. This is the worst run defense in the country. This is the worst defense in the country. And it was once again exposed and flat out embarrassed once again.
Yeah, and this is a complete. I mean, it was 17-14 at the half. If SMU doesn't drop 2 wide open bombs, this is not just 17-14. This is 28-14.
I mean,
this game could have been over at half. It really could have been.
I started with the running defense. Like you said, if those 2 are completed, we're looking at. I don't think the coverage was good either. Is what I'm.
Yeah, plenty of passes that were just given up deep as well. They called the same play twice after Ridge Tejada had a pass
Yeah.
breakup, and they called the same play again. Preston Stone throws it right away, and it's just wide open. So, I mean, this is what this team looks like when your offense isn't doing well, right?
Yeah.
The defense played exactly the same as it's always played. It had a few good moments. It had the stop in the red zone, which I was really happy
Yeah.
about. But when your offense is struggling, this is what happens to this team. You get absolutely embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to put all the blame on the defense, because obviously we could just say, well, what if they weren't on the field as much or whatever? Well, I'm going to call a spade a spade and call it that this is still the worst defense in the nation, and it will continue to be probably throughout the year. Now, with that being said, I'm not going to give the offense a pass, because obviously that was also equally as awful. The fumble, the interception, back to back drives was awful. The one of the play calls, I think it was a screen pass to Conright that was just blown up right away. I think it was on third down.
Yeah.
Just some, I don't know. I mean, I guess what are you going to do to try to bounce back after those 2 turnovers and SMU scores anyways? It's kind of hard, but it's just, this is what this team's going to look like if you don't have a good offense. I mean, that Memphis game looks like this. If Chandler Rogers didn't throw for 5 touchdowns against Memphis, this is the same exact score of the Memphis game. Instead of 45-42, it's 45-21, just like that.
Look,
So
yeah. I started the podcast, getting on Chandler Rogers.
Yeah.
Because he struggled in the second half, so I deserve, it's deserved criticism, of course. There's so much pressure on his shoulders to be perfect,
right,
and to make up for shortcomings of everybody else on this team. He is the best player on this offense. I think he is a better, him and Jamori Macklin, obviously. The running backs are good, cool. The offensive line is what it is. This is Chandler Rogers. The only way that this game would have been close is if he put on the Superman cape and threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns and no picks. That's the only way this game was ever going to be close. And with all that, he knows that.
Yeah.
The coaching staff knows that. Everybody knows that. The receivers know that. That's why maybe it gets in their head. Maybe they drop a ball or two because they're like, oh my gosh, I have to throw. Like Chandler Rogers just escaped 4 people and now he's throwing it to me and I'm scared as hell and I'm dropping it. Like, the drops can't happen if you're going to win this game, if you're going to keep this game close. You cannot have 3 drops, one from Macklin, one from Sides, and one from Conright in the same game.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable. And so with that in mind, Rogers maybe is trying to press a little bit. You're not getting help from your receivers. You're not getting help from your offensive line. The run game I actually think was decent. Attaway, 8.2 yards per carry a day, 4.4. So they ran the ball fine. You could argue they should have ran it more, but in the second half after the turnovers, you go down, multiple possessions and it's hard. But yeah, the offense to me, it is what it is. And there's so much pressure on Rodgers to be good that when he's not good, it is just night and day. Like the lights are off. If he's not perfect, the game's over because your defense ain't going to stop and you're not getting help from fill in the blank. So that's kind of my takeaway from the offense was just not quite good enough. I don't think this is an overall overarching indictment of Morris or anything like that. I just think they were outmanned in this game. We knew this coming in that SMU's defense is really good.
Well, I mean, coming into this game, Chandler Rogers had 21 touchdowns and how many picks?
Three picks. Yeah.
3 picks.
Yeah.
So coming into the game, 21 and 3, you're basically playing perfect football. The last 2 games, you don't play perfect football. He has 2 touchdowns, 2 picks last game. He has 2 touchdowns, a pick and a fumble this game.
Yeah.
You see what happens when that happens. 45-21 to SMU, and I already forgot the score of
7 and an 8-point loss to
yeah, 37-29. You had chances. I mean, that's just kind of what it looks like. And on the defensive side, it's like you can't really do anything. So this is what this team is. But you do move on to Tulsa and UAB. Tulsa has almost as bad as defense as North Texas does somehow. I saw the Sickos committee posted something of the teams who give it the most yards, and I think they were like 5th to last with like 465 or something like that.
SMU dropped 65 on them, I believe.
Yeah. So going into that, we should feel a little better. But are you at all concerned with Chandler Rogers kind of struggling these last 2 games?
In terms of him for the next 2 games?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. I think if he plays, I mean, when he plays Tulsa and UAB, he's gonna be in a game where he's not a double-digit underdog and have to will his team to win. Like the defense, hopefully, maybe can get a couple stops. You know, you're not playing from behind. That's another thing about these games. Like he's played from behind every game in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
I mean, the Navy game too, right? That was another game where he was playing from behind the whole time. So it's like at some point, it would be really nice if you're as a quarterback if you could play with a lead and not have to, be like, all right, well, I got to make this throw, this throw. Like the pressure is real whenever you're
Right.
playing from behind like that. So he's exceeded all expectations when they have played from behind. And, and whenever this is the situation you hand him every single game, he's not going to be perfect. So I expect Tulsa. I expect Chandler Rogers to light them up. I expect him to be really good. The defense, we'll see if they help him or not. And same thing with UAB. UAB is going to be an interesting one. But I do expect North Texas to win both these last 2 games. And that's not just me looking at this through, green glasses. But I sincerely think this is a team that has showed enough flashes in the last 4 games to say, all right, beat UAB, beat Tulsa in the year 5 and 7. I do
Yeah.
think that that's very, very possible.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, we keep calling the stretch of death, and that's for good reason. It is very frustrating though to see it end this way after it started so positively. I almost would have wished the script was flipped. You have a chance to win against SMU instead of a chance to win Tulane when we had no expectations, and then we gained some expectations. But yeah, I mean, going into Tulane, I think Tulsa is almost a must win in a way. Not in the sense of like obviously against FI or La Tech, it was like, oh, I don't know about this coach or his decisions. Whereas I think Tulsa is more like this team needs something to hold on to to end the year, because you want to feel good about something. So if you can win both of those games, that would be amazing.
I like the way you worded that. That was good.
Thanks, Bruni.
That was good. Yeah, it's always good when you make me think about things. Yeah, that's all I have. I don't got anything else.
I don't either. People are mad, by the way.
Of course, people are mad. Look. This is the one loss in the stretch. I mean, arguably, you can argue the Memphis loss was more frustrating to me because you should have won that game. But this is the one this is the game where they finally underachieved. Right.
Yeah.
The last 3 games they have played at least up to par, if not above par, in 3 games against the top teams in the American. Now you play SMU, your crosstown rival, a game where you were competitive for a half, and another game where you're double digit dog, but you look like you can compete for a bit, and then you get blown out.
Yeah.
This one, I'm fine with fans being mad at it, like in a vacuum, looking
right
at
in a vacuum,
saying, "Damn, I'm upset that we
no,
lost."
yeah, and I'm really really upset. But like, there's a couple tweets where it's like, Coach Morris is embarrassing, blah 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 blah, stuff like that.
Yeah, because North Texas has never been blown out by SMU before. That's never happened.
I'm pretty sure the last time they got blown out by SMU was 45, or they have been blown out by SMU 45-14. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that happened. That might have been my first year.
They've been blown up by SMU like every year except 2 years since we've been covering them.
Maybe, yes.
I mean, you had the win in 2018.
The win, yeah.
And then
with their new coach, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of them have been losses. I mean, look, I am not here. We've made it clear, we don't like SMU, but their situation is so unique because they have a small group of people willing to fund their entire program.
Yeah, they just built on the broadcast. They said it was $100 million for that new facility, and that's just straight up just like here. Not getting TV revenue for the next 7 years in the ACC.
Yeah, they're not filling up stands. They're not doing anything crazy here in terms of fan engagement, but they are able to buy players and buy facilities in a way that other teams can't. So I'm cool with them going to the ACC. I don't think they're going to be competitive in that conference. I don't think they're going to be that good, but it doesn't matter. Good for them. They are playing on a different level from everybody else in the American. So that's just the reality of it. Like, cool, you're rich. All right, go play with other rich schools.
Yeah.
That's fine. So I don't look at this game. I look at UTSA's trajectory as a program. I look at even Memphis, Tulane a little bit less, but like Tulane, maybe, if you can get to that level at some point.
Yeah.
You look at those teams more so than SMU. And so this is kind of a result of that. But yeah, anything else? 552 yards for
Oh, our
SMU.
pick'em.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, our
I got
pick 'em.
freaking destroyed. I
Dude,
was so close to going 3-1. Instead, you went 3-1. I mean, I was like a play,
here, do you
2
want me to
plays
pull it up
away.
on the screen?
Yeah, pull up the screen. I got it right here. They'll read off.
Here. Oh, I did this wrong. Here we go. Oh, it's on our Twitter, right? Yeah.
It is on our Twitter. I did not send you the updated one, so.
Oh, yeah, you didn't send me the update. All right, here it is. There it is. Share screen. Here you go.
All right. First prop was 20.5 SMU first half points. I said the under. Bruni got the over. It was the under. They got 17 points. And I was on cloud 9 because I only needed 45 rushing yards in the second half to get the 137.5 rushing yards over. They ended with 132 because Chandler Rogers got sacked a lot. And then the last touchdown play was 29 yards, and I needed 2 more yards. And I lost that one as well. And then North Texas needed 1 more tackle for a loss in the last quarter and a half of the game and did not. So I got lost on that one as well. And then the score is just a wash because it was so far from both of us. So I have lost 3 points. It is now 25 to 21. No, 20.
Yeah, 25-21. 25-21.
Yeah. So
look, guys, y'all can tweet at us if you want. If you think Colin should get this, you can tell him he.
Oh, that's a great idea. I don't know if anyone's listened to this point, but if you're still listening and you want to,
the final score was 45-21.
Yeah.
All right. He had 38-28. Look, he was 14 points off, so it's not like he was
close. I definitely wasn't close.
But he was much closer than I was. So I'm okay with if y'all want to.
If you're okay with it and want to just give me a point, I'll take it. I just didn't feel like I should have the point. That is up to you. Now, this could bite you. So, choose your words carefully.
Hold on. Maybe we'll post a poll. We'll post a Twitter poll.
Okay, we'll post.
I already know how we'll do it. We'll just post a screenshot of this.
Yeah, you post a poll.
Final score 42 or whatever the heck it was, 45-21. Should Colin get a point for this? Or should Colin get a wash?
Should be a wash, yeah.
Yeah, or wash.
Yep. 20 if it's not a wash, I'm gonna assume or if it is a wash, I'm gonna assume that it is 25-21. I'm down 4 with 2 games left.
I mean, literally you get bailed out by the last second touchdown for North Texas too. So because I am not giving you if it was 45-14.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't think I should take either of them, for being honest. But yeah, I know the 137 rushing yards tough. The 30.5. Let me actually get the exact play on that. Because now I have to know it. Maybe it was like 25 yards, and I can just sniff some copium and be okay.
Find it right here, bro. It was a 29-yard reception. Great line by me.
Absolute.
Both of them were great lines. 30.5 longest play and 3.5 TFLs. Those are winning lines right there. That I said.
Unbelievable.
Winning lines.
Unbelievable.
And then I just had to gut out the rushing yards prop. Because that was a good line, too.
That was a good line. I can't. Oh, man, that's tough. Tough scene. But hey, it's football. It's football.
Maybe I'll shave my head with you in solidarity.
But that isn't. But I need you to laugh at me like I laughed at you whenever you had the chip. Actually, I started laughing when you had the chip. I'm remembering this now. And then I was like kind of concerned for like a short period of time. Because like this dude's like not okay. So.
But, yeah, you're trying to read me questions thinking I was actually going to be okay. And then all of a sudden I like.
You just disappeared.
My body went into shock. My body went into shock and I was throwing up almost. Good God, that was the worst day of my life.
Oh, man. All right. Yeah. Well, I guess we're going to be going to we won't do another podcast. Are we doing a preview podcast? What day are we doing a preview podcast?
We'll do it in the hotel room in Charleston.
Okay, so preview podcast on Thursday after the game or before the North Texas game. I don't know what times they are.
We'll do it
Um,
late, like Thursday or something like that.
yeah,
We'll
and
see.
then we'll also
We'll,
be watching basketball in Charleston this next week.
yes, I think we're gonna do a quick preview pod just on the field and everything like that.
Yeah, I'm
Probably
down. We
on
should do it Wednesday when we're there.
Monday.
Oh,
Oh, you want to do it that late?
why not? I mean, or we could just do
Um,
the preview pod and both pods at once on Wednesday.
no. Okay, I'll text you. We'll see. Or we'll talk about it. I have an
Okay.
idea.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
anyways, Charleston Classic. We are a basketball school. Don't forget. NIT
Man,
champs.
my life would be completely better if we beat LSU in this tournament.
LSU just lost to Nicholls State, for those wondering.
Yeah,
For reference.
but getting a win over an LSU just sounds good. You know, like saying like North Texas beat LSU, that just sounds good.
I was telling my dad, I was like, it's kind of a lose-lose situation now. You know, if it beat LSU now, it's like, all right,
Yeah,
well, if you sucks. And then if you lose, it's like, well, damn. And you
yeah.
lose LSU.
Nicholls State beat LSU, so
Yeah.
why can't we?
Yeah. So I do think though, and this isn't talking about that. We'll talk about this later, but that would be a good win for North Texas.
Oh yeah,
LSU is gonna win like 4 or 5 games in the SEC, so that's not like a bad loss. Like it will be a good win, or it's not gonna be a bad win. It'll be a good one.
yeah.
Anyways, we'll talk about all that and more this week as we preview the Charleston Classic, which we will be making our trip to this coming week. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. We'll be back. Talk to y'all later. Leave us a like, comment, share, subscribe, and yeah, y'all have a good weekend. It's Friday night recording this, Colin. So
Man, doesn't it feel like a freaking Saturday night?
feels like a
I feel like
Saturday.
I just went through the ringer.
Yeah.
I feel like this is Sunday morning. I just stayed up slept like 3.5 hours. I'm upset.
Well, now you can wake up in the morning and garden your backyard or
I am golfing tomorrow.
golf.
So
There you go.
that's
Take
good.
your anger out on the little white ball. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll see y'all later.